Hello, my name is Frank Saratella. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'd like to welcome you. I'm a miracle. In 2012, Jesus gave me the gift of a second chance in life when they closed the expressways in Chicago, pulled me out of my truck, and rushed me to a trauma center. It was in 1984 that Jesus changed my life. If you'd like to read more about my testimony, just click on the link below. My website's called themidnightcry.com. On it, you'll find other videos. You will find a section on study tools that has links and articles and videos to help you increase and work on your walk with Jesus. You'll also find a section with books and writings. I've got books that have been published on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but they are free in their entirety. You can read all of my books for free in their entirety, no charge, including the latest. Now, this book has not been published yet. This book is on the website in its entirety, but has not been published because what you're going to see on my website is the raw form. It's in the process of being edited now. The content is perfect. There may be some problems with maybe a little bit of grammatical spelling, some punctuation, but nothing major. You'll get the gist of it. And if you're going to check it out, I would definitely, without a doubt, very strongly encourage you to read the preface, chapter 1 and chapter 4. That'll give you a foundation of how we've gotten to the embarrassment and hypocritical church system that we're in today. If you are returning, I just want to thank you for your support, both emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Thank you for your donations. They're greatly appreciated. The other day I was told that I guess they found a chariot in Pompeii. And doing a little bit of research on Pompeii, you could say it was almost a modern Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, we know about Sodom and Gomorrah, how it was a territory that was perverted, homosexual. It lived lavishly, extravagantly, overabundance of food. But yet, very few people, if any, talk about Pompeii and what took place there. Now keep this in mind, both Pompeii and Sodom and Gomorrah both had no Bibles. Pompeii was destroyed in 79 AD. And if you, I'm gonna put a couple of links below on Pompeii. And what's really eye-opening is that when God destroyed Pompeii, it is documented that the weather patterns were completely irregular. They were bizarre, as the one commentator said. They should have never been the way they were. And what's really sad is that scientists and commentators are really quick to point fingers in every direction except where it really belongs, and that's with God. That God is the one that orchestrates the weather, and He's the one that trapped the people in there because of their perversion. This video is basically comparing Sodom and Gomorrah, Pompeii, and the United States of America, known as the United States of America, known as America. Ladies and gentlemen, why is it that with all the religiosity, all the Christianity, all the churchianity, all these preachers, nobody's talking about the fact that we print 100 million Bibles every year and we're living in Sodom and Gomorrah? I know that it's not politically correct. I know it's also not religiously correct. The people on TV and the people behind pulpits are more interested in not offending people and not telling the truth and just ignoring or avoiding the truth at all costs because they don't want their flock to scatter, not because they're shepherds, but because they're hirelings. But ladies and gentlemen, the facts are still facts, and the facts cannot and will not ever change. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah by raining fire and brimstone on it. God destroyed Pompeii by erupting Mount Vesuvius. What awaits America? I'd like you to think about that. What awaits America? Because America is a civilization and a culture that has never been in the history of mankind. The technology is like never before in the history of mankind. The culture the selfishness, the self-absorbedness, the narcissism, the arrogance, the pride. Never before in the history of mankind has a culture been so self-absorbed. And yet the religious system and the church people confidently feel that God is pleased with what's going on in the church system, that God is happy about all the things that they're doing, the programs that they're coming out with, movie nights, strippers for Jesus, the plumbing ministries, all the different ministries. And I think in one of my videos I mentioned that, and I'm going to put that link on there too so you can look at all these different ministries. And the one ministry that's missing is ministering to Jesus, ministering to God, walking with God, talking with God, obeying God. It scares me, ladies and gentlemen. Moses says to God in Psalm 90, verse 11, "Who knoweth the power of thine anger? Who knoweth the power of thine anger, O God?" And yet, we eat, we drink, and we get up to play as though everything is okay, and that God winks at our sin, and that God understands that we're just frail, we're just human, we're weak, and God doesn't understand why do we not love Him the way He loves us, to sell out everything for Him as He sold out everything for us. God gave us His whole heart when He gave us Jesus. Why are we not giving Him our whole heart so that we can love and obey and know Jesus? Because we become a selfish, self-centered, self-righteous culture that is revolved around man, man's kingdoms, man's reputations, and not Jesus. We become fishers of churches, not fishers of Jesus. Because we go out, or I should say we, not me, okay? But multitudes of people go out and they're bringing fish in to their church. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus says we're supposed to be fishers of men for Jesus, not fishers of men for a religious empire and institution. See, and that's where everything lies, is that the hypocrisy and sin has reached heaven, and God is saying enough is enough. It's one thing for people that do not profess to be Christians to live in sin. It's one thing for people who do not profess to be Christians to be angry and lust and have adulterous affairs and have homosexual affairs. That's completely different. But when a person professes to be a Christian and decides that they want to live in lust, they want to live in perversion, they want to live in anger, resentment, bitterness, they want to be a friend of the world and not a friend of God, that they love to store up treasures here on earth instead of riches in heaven where rust and moth will not corrupt, then you have to sit back and see where God is, because God is a God of His Word. And God watches over His Word to perform it, every jot and every tittle from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to take stock of your life. You need to look at your heart, and you need to look at the sins that are in you. You need to ask the Lord to show you the idols in your heart. You need to ask the Lord to show you the secret sins in your heart. Then you have to learn, and this is a process I am currently learning, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, I'm in the same boat as you. Nobody's above anybody here. I'm learning how to walk a life of self-denial and crucified life. A life of not giving in to what Frank wants, but giving in to the will of God. That is a very difficult part when God starts bringing you that, because we all have to go to our Garden of Gethsemane, the wine press. Not my will, Father, but nevertheless your will be done. The crushing, the pain, the agony, the tears, the humbling of dying on a cross, forsaking our wants, our emotions, our needs, enduring the pain of the cross, and embracing our beloved Savior, knowing that He will save us from our sin if we only hold to Him. When we hold to Him, then He can save us. But alas, we become arrogant and independent of Jesus, and we use Jesus as a tag, and we use Him as a means to live in our selfishness and live in our sin. We use Jesus as an excuse to live in sin instead of use Jesus to overcome and have power over our sin. Ladies and gentlemen, the hour is very late. What God did to Sodom and Gomorrah and what God did to Pompeii is nothing in comparison to what's coming to America. God is going to wipe America as one who wipes a dish, wiping it clean, turning it upside down, and then he is going to just devastate California with a 10.0 earthquake. He will leave California in ruins and astonishment, a devastation, and a desolation. God is not mocked. I just had this conversation last night with a gentleman. For those of you who don't know it, there are 3 faults in America. There's probably more, but the 3 most popular are the Cascadia, that runs from Vancouver down to, I believe, San Mendocino, the San Andreas Fault, and then there's a fault called the New Madrid Fault. It's in, it goes through Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky. I'll have the link for you. The thing about the New Madrid Fault is the New Madrid Fault actually has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 15 nuclear reactors on it. Ladies and gentlemen, where much is given, much is required. It's time to take inventory. The day is gone by, the night is far spent, and the Lord is calling us to seek Him with all our heart, to die to ourselves, forsake ourselves, take up our cross, and lay down our life for Jesus. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for Jesus and the gospel's sake, they will find it. I pray that this video has ministered to you. It's been a sobering video because of gathering the information on Pompeii, and I've known about Sodom and Gomorrah, and then just the reality of what God is going to do to America. Don't think we're beyond it, ladies and gentlemen. Do not think we're beyond it. Just when they say peace, peace, that's when sudden destruction comes. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to this video. I would pray that you'd pass this video on, because there's a lot of people, multitudes of people in the church system that are asleep in the light. They're waiting for a rapture that's not going to come when they think. They're waiting to get whisked out, and they're going to be shocked when all hell is dropped on them and they have no concept of what's coming. Now is the time to get in the ark. Ladies and gentlemen, it's impossible to love Jesus too much, but it's really easy to love Him too little. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this message. Good night.